Hello, good day, everyone. Welcome to the career development series that we have um, on our channel. Thank you all so much for making out the time to come onto the platform again. And as promised, we promise to come to you every week, with a new topic, guiding you on your career specific goals, how you can, leverage your experience, level up, and get more opportunities. So as promised, we're going to be talking about how you can, start a career in tech, and with a focus on data analysis. Okay. As you all know, a lot of people like say tech is the new gold, and a lot of people are pivoting into tech. But the question you need to ask yourself is, what part of tech is the right one for you? So my goal is to kind of like present a lot of options to people. The last one we did that one on cybersecurity, and really had a breakdown of the what cybersecurity really is and the different roles that are applicable. So some people are also interested in data analysis, and I feel the need to like give people a breakdown of what it's about, so and how you can get started. So before you get into the field, you kind of have a rich understanding of what to expect, how to get started, the free trainings that are available online, and all the information that you need. So to kind of like help us to do justice to this topic, I had to bring someone that I know that has experience as a data analyst for over 3 to 4 years, and she has worked in companies in Nigeria before she then moved to Canada to work as a data analyst. She's a graduate of computer science, and she had an interest in that and started learning that particular area. And I felt that, okay, based on her experience and skill, she'll be the best person to give us a guide on this. And apart from that, she's also very strong on YouTube and Twitter, where she talks about data analysis and data analysis, data, and how people can leverage their experience to work with data. So without further delay, I'm going to be introducing my guest, Chinwe. Welcome to our career development series this week on how we can get started with tech and earn remotely in dollars through data analysis. So thank you so much for coming on. So you have the floor. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Segun. It's quite an honor to be here. I really do appreciate you bringing me on board, and I'm excited to see, like how much I can share with the time I've spent in the space of data and analytics. Um, but yeah, pretty much I've been in the space for actually it's going to 5 years now. I started 2020. So like
Oh,
in the
okay.
heat of COVID period. So right now
Okay.
it's almost 5 years at the moment. So I would say that it's been such an experience, honestly. But yeah, I'm quite glad to be here and excited to share my experience so far and how you can actually get people more interested into the space of data analytics and tech in general, pretty much.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Okay. So now let's just get straight into it. So I think you prepared a slide for us. So if you can share your screen, then you take us through what you have for us. And towards the end, I'll ask specific questions because data is it could be very difficult for some people to like stay consistent, learning and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So towards the end, I'll kind of ask some questions based on everything that you've said. But I really want you to take us through the journey, how to get started, and all that. So you can share your screen.
All right, great. Uh, please let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, so like I said, my name is Chinwendu or Chinwe, so I'm Igbo. And over the years I've had to like actually start my career in data analytics. So I started my career in data analyst as data analyst. And pretty much currently I now work as a technical data steward, of which it's I think it's a new role that is just beginning to emerge in the space of data analytics, right? I'm also a YouTuber, like Segun has said as well too, and I literally share a lot about that to get started in data analytics, courses, communities you can join, projects as well too you can work on, and even how to even find like jobs as well online, especially for my Nigerian folks, right? So in there I just share like insights as to how to get started, the different courses you can use as well to get started as well. And I'm currently based in Canada at the moment. So this is my career background. I started my career in 2020, like I earlier said, in the heat of COVID. And my career literally started from me just being curious, right? And not to shade any career space, but actually this starts like in the talent management space, right? And what that meant was that I had to, take like all these professional courses, especially in HR. And over time, I found out that it wasn't really like the job market wasn't really so nice at the time, right? And it kind of felt like an admin role. I didn't know if I was so much of a people person, if you think about it. So I decided to like go and leverage on my current degree or my degree at the time in BSc bachelor's, which is computer science. And I was like, okay, sure, and you actually have like a computer science degree. Why don't you like look for something that you can use? We can work with using the skills you've gathered. I remember like back in school in my university days, I had a course that I did very well. It's called database management and all. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then data was like really like budding at the time. So I took some courses. I enrolled in some communities as well too. So as a lady, especially if you're in Nigeria, as a lady, there's like a plethora of communities can be part of that would really help you advance your skill set and even just be like a thriving community of people as well too, right? So what that meant was I looked for communities around, and yes, it was online because I also it was like there was also the COVID lockdown and the likes, right? And that was She Code Africa. I think She Code Africa was really pivotal to some extent, where I joined the data science cohort. And afterwards, I mean, I've been able to like secure jobs in edtech, in the fintech as well too, at Spark Microfinance Bank, where I pretty much had to work with like a wide range of data, right? And even telecoms in my previous role as a telecom in the telecommunication space here in Canada, I actually worked as a data analyst as well too, and things around like subscribers, ensuring that our platform was up to date, giving real data that our clients or our stakeholders could use to make informed decisions about scaling the business wherever or to their customers, right? Then I currently work at one of the largest cybersecurity company as a technical data steward, of which I'll try and get into later on. But pretty much what my role entails is things around documentation, ensuring that we have like enough business logic needed for the business team to use to define the different data they're building, right, for the good of the company. And because we know that right now, like there's a lot of concerns with AI, right? So there's that need to ensure that we're also aligning with policies as well too. So a stewardship really must one that just that is in charge and stays on top of everything regarding like the business use cases as well as also like technical data definitions for the data of the company pretty much. So I'm also a YouTuber, like I earlier mentioned. I write blogs as well too, on Medium, videos related to career, data analytics, and I'll say that over the years I've built quite a good, or rather, I am interested, or I really love working in product-based company because I've seen real time, especially my time at Sparkle, how you can use data to actually influence decisions, and it's really good because you're able to see how based on your analysis, it can influence development of whatever product you're building. And yeah, so it's a very, very, very cool, like I think it's a very, very good career to actually embark on, right? Then my journey into data analytics. Shall do you have any questions for me so that I know how to like go on? Should I still go on? Any questions you want to
No, no,
ask
yes,
or I should
you
go?
go on. I have questions, but I'll ask after.
Okay.
Just one.
Okay, so just looking into my journey into data analytics, right? So I started by really just learning, received access to learning materials in data science, like I mentioned in She Code Africa. And most of these resources, honestly, they were free. And then again, um, I would also say that even as a lady as well, right? You have more edge. Like a lot of companies are trying to do inclusivity. They want more women in tech and all right. So there's that free opportunity you actually get for most times. Sometimes I even sponsors who would want to sponsor only female for them to be a part of like let's say boot camp and the likes. So I got into I'm glad I was able to secure such opportunities as well. Then also while doing that, it meant that I had to work on like portfolio projects that I can put on my GitHub for at least recruiters to see at the very least, right? And then I also wrote technical. I mean, I'm someone who I literally my technical articles are really for me, right? Yes, I write on Medium, but when I write on Medium, it's for me to go back and revisit to learn. Oh, okay, this is what this was what I was trying to understand when I was building a particular project. So that's one of the reasons why I write on Medium as well. And then I was able to like successfully and really confidently make a switch into data analyst. And I continue learning. I mean, you can never stop learning. It's always evolving. I continue learning and working on relevant projects. And then I joined a free bootcamp data analytics in Nigeria, which is called Retrogression. I think that was I would say that was one of the many blessings I received because in there I learned a lot of tools like Power BI. I was stretched. There were projects I had to work on. It was also on site, so it really like built me well and was like a really solid ground for me. And this is one of the main bootcamp I always highly recommend for my Nigerian folks. If you're able to if you're looking to really switch into data analytics, I highly encourage this bootcamp because I believe I was like the second beneficiary of the cohort or the first, but it was really valuable, really, really valuable. Then there's a roadmap to being a data analyst, but I want you to understand that there's sort of seem like they seem to be like a let's say an intertwine in some sense between data analyst and data science, right? But I would focus majorly on data analytics because I feel it's one of the easiest way. Like, if you want to break into tech and you also want to be one of the tech Cs or tech bros, right? It's one of the easiest pathways you can actually use to get into tech. And one of the many things I would always encourage you to start out with is statistics. Do not just come and start out building dashboard and BI tools without having like a basic understanding of how numbers work. It's important that you are able to even know what are the different metrics you may have to use eventually because statistics teach you a lot. Regression, mean mode, these are things that you may think are basic, but eventually they come in handy, right? Also, Excel, how proficient are you in Excel? For most parts, you need to like do some data manipulation in Excel. So it's good you actually have a good grasp of Excel at the very least. Then SQL, I mean, I always say that SQL is like the bread and butter of any data analyst because you're literally going to be training and using SQL in almost like 95%. Even in any BI tool you have to work with, you would have to literally use SQL as well. So in Power BI, you use SQL. In Tableau, in Looker, the back end literally built with SQL if you want to eventually like get to what you've analyzed, right? So SQL is really important. I cannot even overemphasize this. In my first job, I knew it was important, but I didn't know it was that important until when I came to Canada and I was like, okay, I need to learn this thing very well. Should I do? So it's actually very, 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 very important. Like I'm stressing it because it is very, very important because most people when they start out, they go straight to data visualization, they start building dashboard, Power BI, Tableau, they start putting fancy stuff on LinkedIn, but the core of everything I would say is just SQL skills and SQL knowledge. Because even when you will go for interviews, they would vet you on your SQL skills. Then the next one is now data visualization, how you can analyze data, understanding the different charts you have to use at time for your presentation or for your analysis. So for example, if you're trying to analyze stuff based on time series, what charts do you have to use? If you're trying to group them, what charts do you have to use? If you're trying to visualize KPIs, what charts or icons do you need to use as well? Because one thing to understand is you're a data analyst, but when you're communicating, the people you're communicating to are not data analysts, right? So you need to learn the right visualization tools to use for you to be able to capture your audience as well as also streamline what you're trying to explain in a very intuitive manner and in a manner that even a layman would understand. Because eventually this visualization that would give them insight into what's happening in their company. Then the other thing I'll also say is learn BI tools. There's a lot that can get started with for free. I think that's why I like this career path. You can use Tableau, you can use Power BI. I highly recommend Power BI because first off, I mean no shade, right? But Power BI has good UI based on my preference, just saying. And then there's some companies who are literally like Microsoft partners as well too, right? And because Power BI is a Microsoft product rather, you see most companies who have like the data storage with Azure, and then they still want to use Power BI as their visualization tool. So I literally recommend people to actually start with Power BI and try and get it to run on their system. So right now it's majorly, I think right now it still works. It's really just good with Windows computer. So, but I mean, if you're using Mac, there's a way you can actually like bypass it using parallels and like, but that's another topic on its own. So you can also learn Looker as well as a visualization tool because it's by Google. So think about like my former company at Sookhouse, we use Google and we use Google Looker. I think I really actually love Looker for some. I don't know. I think I just love Google generally. So I'm always very interested with Google products. And Google Looker was one of the many. Google Looker is one of a new tool that came out about. I think it came out later than Tableau and Power BI actually came out. So it's a new tool on the block, I would say. So you would need to also learn how that works as well. But not all these tools I'm mentioning for BI tools are not necessary. Just learn one. They are all transferable skills if you actually can learn one. That's one thing I gathered during my interview, my previous company, that, oh, if you know how to do Power BI, even how to use Tableau, you can definitely learn Google Looker on the job. That's fine. Then Python for a data analyst. I don't really say it's 100% important, but I think it's important. My current job is actually very important if you know how to use Python. Then AI tools, right? I had to put these AI tools like just before this presentation because you can't be in a tech space and do not know how to leverage AI. I like, for the love of your life, at the very least, you need to know how to optimize AI very well for even productivity on the job as well, right? So I would highly encourage you to learn the different AI tools out there. Be smart and adverse, and I'd be very good at it that it's just make the whole process easier for you, honestly. That's what I'll say. And then when you do that, you're gonna be awesome, pretty much like the Superman in here. So you need to actually learn all these tools. Then this is a resume that actually got me. This is my resume that actually got me like 3 offers, like when I was breaking into data analytics. So like I said, it was a very interesting time for me. I had to learn, I skilled myself. And this resume literally just covered like my career, my education, where I studied, the certifications I had as well to the skills I had and training I had to embark on, right? It was a one-page resume. And right now, the good thing is if you also see in there, you see that I also like participated in hackathons. And now that's because hackathons are a way to actually stretch how well you can perform within a team and also within a timeline as well too, because it's time framed, right? So I would also encourage that if you can be in, you can, if you can embark on hackathons, I would highly encourage you to do that because you also get with other people as well too and understand what your team collaboration is even before getting a job, right? So this job actually got me 3 offers in Sparkle. So, well, one of them was Sparkle, where I eventually worked in Sparkle Microfinance Bank, in another company, and in another data science company. So I had to, well, at the time, I had to choose the one that I preferred, right? And I'm glad that I was able to break in there. So what I'll say is that when building your resume, currently, what I would advise is that you should actually ensure that you try to tailor your resume based off of your based off of what the company is looking for, if that makes sense. So what I mean is that you need to be able to tailor your resume in a way that your recruiter or whoever is that resume would want to actually look at it. So for example, let's say they want somebody who is skilled in um let's say querying of data from database, or they have like some certain data warehouse tools that they want you to have knowledge about, right? It's imperative you at least have those touch points in your resume so that at least even if it's going through ATS, you can pick your resume and at the very least you have like your foot into the door to actually have like the first call recruiter interview, right? So that's one thing I would highly encourage. If there's anything that I know that is important to the job itself, try and tailor your resume around that. I can't even like stretch it enough because I feel like that's one of the many things like people are actually leveraging on right now. So that's what I'm going to encourage about that. Sorry. Then just going to next tool, next slide. Then I think while we're here, remote jobs that can actually land you, remote website can actually use to land a remote job and you can start earning in dollars. So there are quite a lot. There are like a plethora of like links you can use as well. So just these are just a few: remote okay, virtual locations, simply hired, TopTal. TopTal is like one large, is a company actually that's quite good at this. And I would encourage you to look at this job list. You go through the number interview like you should. And some of these roles you may see may pay based on per hour, or because here in this part of the world they pay based on that as well. So you want to find out any of these links or any of these websites that actually offer the kind of role that you would like. And because it's remote, it means that you also need to manage your time effectively as well. So in terms of all time zone difference that exists, because you're working for like external people outside your country. And one thing I would also encourage is that at the very least, also ensure that you have like stable internet as well and good electricity when you have to come on board with jobs like this, because this part of the country, and you just generally just need to be excellent, right, at your job. So everything you need to get yourself prepared and to really thrive in the role, I would actually encourage that you do that, be it in knowledge, closing skill gaps as well too. I highly encourage that. There's Angel List. Angel List is a good place because most times these are like startup companies, right? They're looking to hire folks that would want to build with them. Sometimes they will not pay so well per se in quote, but they pay decently, and that's one of the many advantages to get earning in a different foreign currency, pretty much. Um, yeah. Then there are different career paths in this space. So there's data analyst, there's data scientist, there's data engineer, there's BI analyst, marketing analyst, product analyst, analytics engineer, data governance analyst, customer data analyst, SQL developer. Like there's a lot, right? But all these roles, they also vary. So data analyst is pretty much someone who will just work, help you with your data, understand your data, analyze your data, building dashboards, reporting as well. So data science are the ones who literally like help you model your data based on what your company would need. Data engineers are the ones who would help you like optimize data warehouse, your storage from ETL process, from extracting data to transforming to loading eventually to your data warehouse. Then you have your BI analyst who pretty much would also like, who is pretty much in the business intelligence space and help you make sense of the reporting you've actually created using the business engines tool. So they help you interpret this report and provide business decisions based on the report. Marketing analysts actually focused on things around marketing, how can you optimize markets for the company using data we have. Product analysts also. I'm going to give an example of what a product analyst does. So for example, in my first role, right, it was a fintech company. And what that meant was that we had like a target audience we were looking to gather to us as our customers, which was the young ones. So in the role of product analyst, you're literally trying to think of how can we bring out features that our demographics would like. So what do we need to do? We need to understand what they want at the time. And how can we ensure that even when you come on board, it's seamless as well. So for example, a product is, let's say, in this context, right, like if the fintech app. So things around ensuring that the process from them even onboarding to the platform to eventually transacting, that is what our goal is. So at each level, what was data we collected? Where we collected like events, because you can track these events, right, and do some analysis and share it out and then present to your product team to see the insights that can be used to improve the product. So all these eventually actually influence decision making for the product team to pivot or to probably make changes. Sometimes it could be user error, it could be system error. How do you make sure that we're able to differentiate this so that even when the CX team as well to rise, when the customer experience team sees this error, they know that okay, it has to be the product guys that they need to reach out to resolve it. Or it could also be like user error where it's the user that is causing these mistakes. So this is what data analysis can help you do. It's product analysis helps you do. It's actually a very, very rewarding career because you're able to influence business decisions. So, when you're like, okay, as a result of what I did, this happened. Like that happiness, honestly,
Yeah.
cannot be compared. Then there's also analytics engineer, which has become like one of the many new careers in the data space. And it pretty much has to do with things around like analytics engineering, right? So think about tools like DBT, for example, data build tools that helps you optimize your ELT processes and helps you ensure that you have certain use cases in place to ensure that your data pipeline does not fail. And it's a thriving career. Most people in this part of the country are really huge into analytics engineering. And for most of all these careers, right, there are a lot of platforms you can learn. I highly recommend Data Camp if you're new to the data space to start with. I love the way the courses are structured. Though it's paid, a paid platform, but aside that, there's so many free courses out there. You have YouTube. Like, I can't even over exaggerate how YouTube is pretty much a school for people to come and learn a lot because you're also learning with tutorials as well too. You also can put that project you've learned on YouTube on your portfolio as well. So I would highly encourage that you should take advantage of like these platforms. Also, there's data governance analyst. So this is a role that it's interesting how you can actually switch. I currently now work in this space. I mean, how can you go from data analyst to data governance, right? But that's because it is a very crucial role, a very crucial and important role, especially in this age of AI. Like a lot of concerns with customer data. How do you protect customer data? Things around PII, personal information, identifiable information as well to the customers like they need. How do you ensure they are compliant with the GDPR rules and laws in the country? Very important, guys, because sometimes people who do not follow through with all these laws, they can be sued. And when you're sued, it's a problem and a loss for your business. So all these policies are being put in place to ensure that you're compliant at the very least. So that's where the role of data governance. For example, think about fintech companies, right? You literally gather like customers' personal details, first of all, like their name for KYC purposes as well too. You need to ensure that even when big firms, like let's say the big four like PwC or KPMG come to audit your company, let's say they check your data and like things like the customer's credit card details, you need to ensure that they are marked. Yeah, like meaning even internally as a developer in that company, you do not have access to their customer details. So there's a lot of things that go into like data essentially. The fancy thing you see out there is data analysis, the good dashboard and all, but this data governance over years I've seen how important it is and how data can actually influence people's decision. So ensuring that you're in alignment with policies is very important. Then there's customer data analysis, which pretty much around like CX, customer experience, and ensuring that whatever issues like your customers have, you're able to use data to influence that decision as well too. So for example, let's say customer comes and complain that, oh, I was not able to log into my platform. Could it be that they mistakenly put a different letter on their when they were signing in, or it could it be like an actual error by the tool or by the product they're using, right? Also, the SQL developer, so pretty much things around using SQL to generate different insights for the business and all. So these are like the different career paths. As you can see, there are quite a lot. Like it's a plethora of like if you're here in the data space, you have a lot of advantage. There's even machine learning that I didn't even go into because I feel like that's more coding. It's not like I have anything against coding,
Mhm.
but everyone person in data space needs to learn how to code pretty much at least Python, right? This is just like a field I could just put in, I think off the top of my head. Then
Okay.
yes, the key takeaways I would say is that you need to learn. Like I remember back then, I was staying corner of my house. I was just like learning, and it was just interesting because for me at the time I didn't have a job, right? But I had the time, so I used to leverage. I needed to leverage the time well, so I would learn. We use projects to learn. I actually encourage project-based learning. I'll use projects to learn as well too. And most times I used to use like some domains to like just streamline my understanding about that domain, right? Now why I say this because most times when companies recruit, beyond just your technical skills, they want to know, okay, how well do you know the overall business? Because when you do it, it's easier for you to interpret certain actions, certain decisions, or certain results you get from your analysis, right? Or whatever insight you generate eventually. Then I'd also encourage technical articles because technical articles helps you articulate what you've learned and helps you communicate better to your audience as well too. So it gives you that communication as well as also technical skills, and that's what technical art schools helps you do, and also gives you better visibility. Like for example, like writing that's short stuff on Medium, on dev.co, on LinkedIn as well too. Sorry, it actually helps you to just communicate your insights in a better way. Then I would encourage you to show up to join communities as well too. In Nigeria, you have a really thriving community. I don't know about other countries, but Nigeria, I would say that they're really, 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 when it comes to communities, they are plenty. So one of many communities is Data First. I'm trying to get the right
Data, what did
name,
you call
just a
it?
moment.
Data what?
Okay, let me get the right. Okay, it's called Young Data Professional, right? They also host Data Fest as well, one of the largest data conferences in Nigeria yearly. That yearly or every, I think yearly or by or quarterly or something, I guess. But it's one of the largest data network out there, and a lot of people like since then I joined in 2022. There's been a lot of growth. You see like career improvement, career growth. They help you with like projects or concerns you have if you're learning something new. And it's one of the platforms that I would really encourage that anybody who wants to really be a part of like this data space, especially in Nigeria, you leverage on. Also, there is She Code Africa as well too. For the ladies. There are also other platforms that you can probably like research. Then you can also use Meetup as well to write. So Meetups helps you. Now that I'm talking to like folks outside of Nigeria. Meetups helps you get acquainted with communities that are within your space. So you can see communities based on the career you're interested in and just like be a part of them as well. So and have like in-person sessions, right? Then lastly, I would say show up for your success because nobody can really show up for you like you do, honestly. Show up for your success, be ready. They say success is when preparation meets opportunity, opportunity meets preparation of those two, right? So you need to be able to know how to like show up for yourself, right? This in ensuring that if an opportunity avails itself, most times I would say take it and then learn while you're at it. That's one thing I've learned over time. You may not be perfect. You may think you're not perfect, but trust me, that's the way other people think. But you need to bet on yourself that you can actually do this regardless and leverage on the different people around you, your networks, to just, excel on that tax you're in. So be it being active on Twitter, be it being active on LinkedIn, be it working on projects as well too. Like you need to have your core, which is your technical skills at the very least, and your soft skills really good, just to give you like that competitive edge. And most of all these things, I mean, I can talk a lot, but I mean, I'm a Christian as well. So what I also say is there's nothing like in as much as your ability may want to be what you'd bank on, but I can't even emphasize it. There's something called grace of God that would speak for you as well. You need to know that it's very important that that grace of God is there to help you. So it's not by your ability, but you need to leverage the fact that God is at work in you as well. So job for your success and leverage on God's help as well too. Then connect with me on these platforms. Yeah. So you can connect with me on these different platforms on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube. And I'll try my best to respond whenever I send up your message.
Are you really good to respond to us?
I will, at least on my YouTube channel, I respond a lot.
Okay, yeah, true. That's true. I can testify to that. Okay, wow. Thank you so much. Like, I love the way you really broke it down, and I like that you took us through the different career paths that are possible in data analysis. Okay, so the first question I have is about what you mentioned about SQL. So you were saying that it's very important that you have a strong knowledge of SQL. That it's not just about understanding Excel and how to, do visualizations, and that in your current role, you kind of like knew the importance of having a strong SQL skill. Can you give an example, to us, not definitely not giving too much information of how important it is to have that skill? Do you get it? I don't know. I would like you to just talk more on that.
Okay, that's a very good question, Segun. So in my first role, like I said, actually, I think I actually I feel like I got the role. First of all, well, by God's grace, but also because of maybe my skills with BI tools. But on the
Okay.
job, for things around, because I said that I worked in a fintech company, right? Think
Mm-hmm.
about how you'd have to determine like fraud as well. You can actually use it to query your database and then
Okay.
streamline the different regions that you can have
Mm.
likelihood of customers who may be doing fraud. That's literally
Okay.
what SQL can do. You can also use SQL for um, even things that your BI tools probably do. Only that they'll give you like the numbers, but BI tools can give you like the visuals, right?
Visions.
And I think I really just I think it was really just like I said, I wasn't so good with SQL at the time, my first role, but my second role, oh dear, I had to level up. And it's a constant skill as well. There are things that you learn on the job. There are projects can use as well to also just even improve yourself as well to with SQL. It's like I don't know how to overemphasize it because I remember on my first job I had to go back home after because it was hybrid at the time sometimes, right? When I come back from work, I'll try like level up in my SQL, but it didn't really make sense until when I was probably on the job. But even with projects that I work with now, you can see how you can apply it to different like projects. And I would just encourage that you should learn it. Also, when you also use what's it called? When you also use SQL itself on the
Mm.
job, it gives you a better understanding on how your database works in terms of querying as well. And then most companies, when you're going for your interview, that's actually the first technical interview they give you. So if you cannot scale through like the SQL process, how do you want to go about it when you get a job?
About
So
job.
it's important. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for sharing that insight. Okay, so another question I have is about building portfolios. Okay, because for someone maybe that has maybe learned data analysis, has basic knowledge and all that, but is not trying to like build a portfolio. Okay, so and most of the time they will say, oh, go to this so website, go and find a particular data set to work with and create a project. But I feel for someone that is new into data, it may be a bit difficult to just say, work on a project. So what I did one time was that I went to YouTube. I think there's one guy, Alex, Data with Alex. So he had an example of a YouTube video that you can help to build a portfolio. So I use that to kind of like do like a portfolio. You understand? So my question now is that for someone that wants to build a portfolio, are there maybe other channels or websites that you can recommend where they can get like a guided process on how to build a portfolio? Because it's not just,
Yeah.
giving them a data set to go and do something. The person is obviously trying to learn, do you understand? And needs guidance and doesn't really know how to like get a project done. So, but it needs maybe like a step-by-step guide, like the YouTube video I watched and I now created a portfolio. So do you know any other one that you could recommend that people can also use, to like build their portfolio?
Yeah, sure. That's a very good question, Shego. And most people actually learn by seeing other people doing it rather than just like giving them a
Exactly.
bunch of data sets. Exactly. Yeah. So one other platform I also encourage is Udemy as well. So Udemy is one of those platforms that it's also project based, of which I would always encourage at all times. So Udemy helps you. You can, and also one thing I'd encourage is data sets that pick data sets in industries or domains that you know that you want to eventually break into because that is an interest for you. So you'll be much more driven to work on that project from start to finish, right? So, for example, let's say you want to go into like edtech, you can look for a project. Look, Udemy has, first of all, they have lots of tutors there or courses there that helps you create that helps you learn, right? And when you're learning based on this project. So I'll highly encourage that you can use Udemy. And it's not really so pricey. In Nigeria, it's like less than 20K, right? In in other countries like $14 or something. But at least you know you are learning something impactful. And what I also say is that when you learn this project, put them on your portfolio because you actually did it, right? Even if you don't
Yes.
have the experience per se, right? You think you don't have the experience, but you've already gathered the knowledge, and that's something that is useful that I can put on your resume.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Project. Okay, yeah, another question I have is when you talked about writing technical articles, yeah, and I like that point you made, is because writing technical articles help you demonstrate your knowledge about what you do. Okay, being able to now explain it into words, especially recruiters, they like to look out for not just someone that can actually do the job, but someone that can communicate and articulate their thoughts effectively. So I feel that was a very good point that also writing technical articles so that they see like your workflow, your process flow. Because I've read some of the articles also. Yes, you explained how you had a problem with the data and how you solved it and
Yeah,
the results. Do you understand? Like that's what people want to
yeah,
see, that okay, this person can communicate. Then I
yeah,
don't know. I really appreciate if you can make a list of like because you mentioned a lot of boot camps that helped you, especially when you were starting off in data. Maybe I'll message you
mm-hmm.
privately, you send that to me because I feel that that information is really going to help because community is very important. To have a community where you
It
can,
is,
yes, get support, ask questions
it
and all
is,
that. So because you mentioned
yeah,
young data professional, you mentioned some other ones too. So we can just maybe like do a list for us of the ones, especially for those in Nigeria, where even after you've
okay,
late, you can get the adequate support. I would like that because I would like to drop it on my community because I have a community of
yeah,
people where I support, career development and those that maybe want to go into data. Data analysis. So I like the another point you mentioned, like show up for your success in everything that we are doing.
yeah,
It's still left to you, to be determined and do what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. So as I'm saying this thing, I'm also preaching to myself because there are some things I also need to do in terms of okay, building up my portfolio and making sure that it gets done. So, but I wanted to clarify
yeah.
something. You talked about Udemy. So, because you want to ask a question about building the portfolios. So, on those courses on Udemy, are they courses that they help you in the course content? It's a portfolio building course content. Like I want to be clear on that.
Okay, so for most parts, like these courses are actually like based on projects. So for example, let's say you're build well, one of the post let me just give you like a very typical like course out there, like Boston House prizes, right? It's a data science project that a lot of people work on, just have like basic understanding of how to use regression models for like the for while working on it, right? And um all this all these courses in Udemy, the good thing about it is not just one project or one thing you'll be learning. You'll be learning things about how to even think about how to approach the problem as well too. And they have like other niches as well. So for example, let's say you want to learn based on like the energy sector. You can get those courses also on Udemy as well. So let's say you want to learn based on just fintech as well, right? You can learn that as well on platforms like that. But they are based on like you can filter based on only data analysis course. And it's one of the cheapest platform out there to actually use. Also, there's Enterprise DNA. So Enterprise DNA may sound new to some people, but Enterprise DNA is one of those courses that you can streamline it based on your interest, and then they'll recommend the actual courses that best suit what you want to learn. As well as also you can select the niche and industry as well that you'd want to learn from, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's a very good one because they're streamlining based on your needs.
Based on
So
your
it's called
need.
enterprise.
I think
Exactly.
you made a video about that before. I think I saw that on
Yes, that is, yeah, it's on my channel. And I think that's a very good one because it's rather than just like getting a lot of courses, you can streamline it based on what you need and then you can learn on it as well and build projects as well. So I'd recommend that platform. There are quite a number, but I'm just like also like you said, YouTube, like Alex has good courses. Aside Alex, there are other people who are doing great things, coming up with content. Also, my channel as well. So I have like some courses I've put in there with different BI tools, different SQL projects from start to finish. How to even use some like data services as well. So like AWS also something that you should learn. Like at the cloud service, not just AWS, but like other cloud services out there like Azure or even like Google as well, Google Cloud Service. So I mean, it feels like a lot of learning, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the platforms where it's one of the career where you don't really need a lot of certification, honestly. It was certification that
Yeah.
drove me out of HR. So being a platform where you can
Yeah,
actually like
that's
be,
true. That's true.
yes,
That's true. Because in
exactly,
data, is more about you showing the work. Do you understand? Because once you know how to
exactly.
analyze the data and you've built up a portfolio and you understand the work, you can do it. Unlike
Yes,
some other professions where certain
exactly.
certifications are requirements. That is, if you don't have
Yeah,
this requirement, you can't do this job. So that's the amazing thing about tech. Tech gives a more open opportunity to people. As long as you know the work and you can prove to us that you can
correct,
get it done, you definitely get
correct.
the
Yeah,
opportunity. That's good.
yeah.
Wow, it's been a very interesting conversation. Thank you so much for making out the time. Okay, Victor,
Thank
I don't know
you.
if Victor has any question, any additional thoughts. Okay, okay,
No,
okay.
Shadow. Yeah, yeah. It's really well explained, simplified. I think Chinwe has done a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. So thank you everyone for making our time to join the webinar. This will be